Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, EXP family and friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to today's live recording of the Light Work Podcast. So honored to be with you all. I'm going to share my screen because, as you all know, when you arrive just a few minutes early, you get your morning mindset prompts this Friday. So let's get your mindset rolling in the right place. If you don't know what we're up to yet, don't worry. I'll introduce it in just a moment. But I want you to stop and just take a minute, and I want you to reflect. I first want you to think about yourself. We're going to start by thinking about you this morning. And I want you to just really dig deep because this might be hard for some of us today to think about yourself. And I first want you to answer something I respect about myself is. What do you respect about yourself? Finish that sentence. Give yourself a psychological and an emotional appreciation this morning. Something I respect about myself. Now let's go a step further than respect. Something I accept about myself. Something that I know to be true and I accept it as is. If you're scrambling, if you're digging, if you're stopping to think, that's okay. Take that time. Respect, accept, and then the most powerful of all, and probably something that we fail to do every day, we miss opportunities to do, something I love about myself is. Every single one of you listening today is worthy and should love yourself. So let's just start small, one step up that giant staircase of self-respect, self-acceptance, and self-love. Something I love about myself is. All right, now let's shift gears because now that you feel this way about yourself, you respect yourself, you accept yourself, you love yourself. Now we can turn our attention to others. Now we can think about other people this morning. When I feel this respect, this acceptance, this love for myself, this is how I show up for others. Reflect on that version of your best self and how you show up for other people, how you deliver, how you add value, how you bring love, joy, gratitude, peace, strength, power, leadership, influence, support, service. How do you show up for others when you feel this way about yourself? All right, everybody, those are your morning mindset prompts. So again, I want to welcome you to the live studio recording of the Light Work Podcast. This is your weekly energy practice. My name is Kirtus Dixon. I'm honored to be with you all. We do this every single Friday live right here in EXP World and in the Restream studio, brought to you by our EXP University team. Shout out to Randy Highsmith and everybody who put this production together. Every Friday, you're going to get a special guest, some story, some strategy, and a message of support. And today is no different. I am honored to be joined by the Realtor Cowboy on TikTok. So excited. He said he could start a fight in an empty room. My man, newly minted icon agent, producer, leader, contributor, all around amazing person and entrepreneur, the one and only Sean Cochran. Good morning and welcome, Sean.
Well, you sure know how to make a feller feel welcome, don't you? Good morning.
Good morning, man. It is an honor to have you. Love when we get a chance to spend some time together. And as you know, we have a short 25 minutes with today's audience. We are live streaming into EXP World, recording this Light Word podcast episode. And I like to jump right in, let you kick us off with telling us your story.
Sure. And I'm assuming you mean personally and professionally, but I started off humble enough. I'm a 46-year-old young man, a married father of one. And I was born in Chicago and moved to a small town called Bolingbrook when I was one. And then I pretty much lived there or around there ever since. Professionally, I was a loan officer for 10 years in the broker world and on the lender side, so the retail side. After I was a loan officer, I recruited loan officers for about 6.5, 7 years for Loan Depot and Guaranteed Rate, both amazing companies. The last, I don't know, let's say 6-7 years of my career before I became a realtor, I wanted to become a realtor. The issue is, if you're working full time at a mortgage company, needless to say, that's generally a no-no, right? So I would always tell my wife, listen, babe, if something ever happens, I quit or I get fired or whatever, I'm getting my real estate license. And she's like, yeah, okay. So lo and behold, Kirtus Dixon, one day I get to the office at Loan Depot, I get my nice coffee ready, and I'm ready to have a good day. And I get a phone call from my boss and I get fired. Now, it wasn't for cause, right? I didn't do anything crazy. It's just, cutbacks. And you know how it is in the mortgage industry. Recruiters are some of the first people to get the old heave ho. So, I told my boss, hey, God bless you. I appreciate it. Packed my box and I was out of there. On the way home, I called Rebecca, my wife, and I said, hey, baby, I just got fired. And she said, oh, Lord Jesus, what are we going to do? I said, relax. We'll be fine. I said, I told you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get my real estate license. So I left. When I got home that day, I stopped. I think I got some Portillo's. Then I went home and ordered the class that day. And, the real estate class, you get it right online, right? So you can start that day. I started that day. Now, I had a couple bucks saved up, so I took most of the summer and kind of hung out with my daughter and did, biking in the zoo and adventures and all that. And I got through the class in about 28 days. Passed on the first try, and here we are. And interviewed with about 8 brokerages before I chose. I initially chose Keller Williams in Naperville, and like a couple of days before I started, I talked to a loan officer friend of mine. His name is Gary, and he said, hey man, Sean, I know you already chose, but before you choose, you got to talk to this new brokerage called EXP. I'm like, dude, I've never heard of them. And second of all, I can't interview anymore. I can't do it. I've already talked to 8 people. It's too much. I got to make a couple bucks here. And he said, yeah, but you love me. We known each other a long time. Just talk to these people before you make a choice. I said, you know what? Fine. So I went to EXP Illinois' website, saw Terry Jeffrey, smiling pretty, who's my mentor and my sponsor. And I called her up. She answered the phone on the first ring. I said, Terry, my name is Sean Cochran. I just passed my real estate test. And I'm looking for a home to hang my license. A buddy of mine told me to talk to you. So that's why I'm calling. That girl talked to me for 19.6 minutes and convinced me. Kid you not. So I started with EXP, and the rest, as they say, Kirtus, is history.
Woo. Well, Sean, man, great to get to know you. Great to let this audience hear your background. I can remember personally when you joined the company. I just remember seeing you show up. There was so much action associated with your arrival at the company. It was noticeable on workplace. It was noticeable in world, attending classes. I don't know that you know that, but I remember seeing you hit the company, and you hit it with force. And there's no doubt about that. It's not surprising to me because, if anybody's listening to your story, it's the little details, everybody, that makes all the difference, right? That's that energy that makes anything possible. You took action the same day when life showed up, right? You got that call, you knew what was next, boom, you're on to the next path. And of course, you prioritized and enjoyed your time along the way, but you took action, you had a plan, you knew your numbers. Shout out to Terry Jeffries. We know and love Terry. And what a cool journey so far. And again, congratulations on a significant production achievement, reaching Icon Agent recently.
Thank you.
Very cool stuff. I love it. If you're just joining us live in EXP World, welcome to a live studio recording of the Lightwork podcast. We are joined by special guest Sean Cochran today. Sean gave us a little bit of background, but if you have listened to these shows, I always like to push a little bit, and I like to find something, Sean, that really takes us back to a time or place. So I'm going to ask you to think back on a big challenge in your life that really helped shape who you are today. As you told us about your successes and your present journey, does anything come up, that challenge that really helped you become who you are today?
So my daddy, God rest his soul, was a pretty successful guy. He was a senior vice president at Motown Records for 20 years and some change. And then after that, he went on to Arista Records, with Whitney Houston and people like this. And so when I was younger, the big push was always, oh, well, you're going to have to go into the record industry, like your dad. All the time, since I was in high school, before I went to college, all that. Hey, get out of school. Once you graduate, you can go, be an intern at Motown or whatever the case may be. And I think that would have been an amazing career, right? But I also knew, and I felt for a long time, that if I did that, Kirtus Dixon, no matter how good I was, no matter what I accomplished, people were going to say the same thing. Oh, the only reason you're here is because you're daddy. And so I felt some type of way about that. And I did not, even though that would have been a good thing, you want to forge your own path, right? So I struggled with that because for a time I had an opportunity to intern like at this industry magazine, and my father got me the job, and the whole time I'm just thinking I got to go out on my own. So that's something I struggled with, for a long time actually. So I finally got up the nerve, say, Dad, I love you, but I gotta go do my own thing. And he was cool. He was with it actually. He's like, hey, God bless you, go ahead. So that's something I struggle with, Kirtus Dixon. And when you're younger and you're starting out in sales or whatever the heck it is, you don't have any money, so we're broke, right? I had like these two 16-inch TVs and playing Madden with no furniture and eating noodles, the whole nine. Now, I'm not saying I was broke because how I grew up. I'm saying I was broke because I was an adult now and I didn't have money. So that was the thing I struggled with, and that struggle made me realize that I've got to find some way to do it myself, carve it out on my own, and make my own way. And I think that was the big moment for me when I applied. It was a company called Platinum Technology, and I sold software, but I did it on my own, interviewed on my own, had nothing to do with Dad, and I started working from there, and started making sales, and that was the moment I think that broke me out into realizing I can do this and forge my own path, essentially.
Wow. I mean, as I sit here and listen to that story, number one, just thank you for your transparency, and thank you for your understanding of how that challenge, and I'm interested to hear how it's forged you today, because you use some really key words there that I just want to call out for the audience here. If you're sitting here listening and you're feeling in any sort of shadow, if you're feeling at any sort of crossroads, like you're at a decision point, if you're feeling unsure, stuck, uncertain, or if you're feeling like your future is kind of already set and you're predetermined, if you're feeling like, there's so many, I think, feelings, Sean, that could be similar to where you were when you identified that challenge of, I want to make my own way. I want to blaze my own path. I want to change directions. And it wasn't out of necessity. It was out of choice. And maybe there was a little bit of necessity there, right? And then a realization of, whoo, okay, now I'm on my own path. Now what? Right? Now I'm here. Okay, this is what I wanted to do, but I'm feeling broke, unsure, uncertain, all of that. And I think there's probably someone out there listening today that can relate to that situation right now, regardless of how much, experience you have professionally, regardless of where you're at in life. There's probably one area or more that needs some of that Sean Cochran energy this morning, that needs some of that, what do I do now that I'm ready to make my own path? So let's shift gears a little bit. And you and I got into a fun conversation yesterday. We shared a little quote here, and this leads us to talking some strategy for anybody who's decided, okay, I'm going to make my own way. I'm going to choose my own path. I'm going to step out of this shadow. I'm going to go around this roadblock. I'm going to get through this obstacle. I'm going to ask you to tell us about that quote and share some ideas here. If you're going to be a bear, Sean, what kind of bear should you be?
If you're going to be a bear, you may as well be a grizzly. And what I mean by that, Kirtus Dixon, is if you're going to do it, do it. If there is a, I don't care if it's personally or professionally. If there's an agent in your market that has an open house, and this agent always has 4 signs, well, gosh darn it, you better have 7. Somebody buys a box truck. Buy or sell with me, use this truck for free, a competing broker. They got a 12-foot box truck. You go get a 16. If you're going to make cold calls, you don't do 10 a day, you do 40, right? If you're going to be a personality, or if you're going to attack anything that you do, you get your butt up and you just try to absolutely crush it. It's my same strategy with all the social media and all that other stuff, Kirtus Dixon. Look, we can all post on Facebook, right? We can all post on TikTok. Good for us. But I'm going to try my best to completely carpet bomb you with Sean Cochran content. If you follow me on Facebook, I'm popping up every 18 minutes. You follow me on TikTok, I'm all over the place. LinkedIn, Instagram, I don't care. My goal here is to give you so much of me that if you're going to use a realtor, you better use Sean gosh darn Cochran, because who the heck else are you going to use? I see the kid all the time, right? He must be good. It's because I simply pound you with me. And anybody out there, any agent who's listening to this, if maybe you're struggling a little bit for leads or to get deals, or whatever the case may be, I just want you to be passionate about what you do. You cannot fake this. It oozes out of you, right? It's like hard workers. Everybody knows who the hard worker in the room is. They don't have to tell you I'm a hard worker. Are you doing everything you can every day to be better than everyone else? Is to the extent possible. And so if you're going to be a bear, you may as well be a grizzly. I want you to stop screwing around. After we get off this, or after we go to leadership meeting, I want you to say, you know what? If we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Cold call like an animal. You get certified in express offers. You get certified in reload. You call your Ob City leads. You just do everything you can do until everybody knows who you are and people start sending you deals. And again, I don't want to start rambling, Kirtus Dixon. All I'm just saying is I want you to go get it. And I want you to attack this job with exuberance and realize we make a lot of gosh darn money to help others realize their dreams, right? We give kids a backyard to play in. What other industry does that? You can take someone who's sitting at home, renting, paying $1,800 a month, neighbors bouncing off the wall, landlord not fixing this, that, and the other. You can lead them down that path to owning a home. There's arguably, aside from leading troops, which I'm not a military guy, aside from leading troops into battle, I don't know of any other profession that can give so much to whom you serve, right? So I just want you to realize that quote, and please, whatever you do, just try to bang it out. Just try to be your best every day. I promise you, you can outpace me. You know, I've been doing this 3 years, right? It's not been 15 years, 3 years. And I just wanted to outwork everybody. You ain't outworking Sean. And so there you go, Kirtus Dixon. Hopefully I didn't get too far off. I get excited. You got to calm me down. You got to reel me in. I don't want to preach to you.
I know you do.
Lasso me in, Kirtus Dixon.
well, let's do a quick lasso. I want to welcome everybody. If you're just joining us live in EXP World, we're recording a live episode of the Light Work Podcast. I am joined by Sean Cochran, the cowboy realtor on TikTok. As Sean is sharing with you here this morning, he's got an amazing story. Newer to the business, but not newer to the industry. Correct. Made such a quick impact in a short amount of time. And he's sending an important message here to you all today. I call this, Sean, this podcast, your weekly energy practice, because a lot of times with the right intention combined with some energy, you have no idea what's possible, right? But if you're missing one or the other, you don't have that clear intention, you're not going a direction or on a path, or you don't bring that energy, that passion that you're sharing here with us this morning, you just don't quite get that momentum you need to move further down that path. So I always like to welcome everybody, do a quick recap. I want to restate a couple of things that you shared here today, because it's such a, to me, memorable message. It hits home. So you said the quote, if you're going to be a bear, you might as well be a grizzly bear. My dad used to share that quote with me growing up. He told me that all the time. And it's funny how words, Sean, they really do, especially in your early formative years, right? They shape your beliefs. They help create your values. And you look up later in life and you realize I'm bringing energy, I'm bringing passion, maybe because of something someone said to me 20, 30 years ago, right? And so this morning, everybody, if you're hearing Sean's message for the first time, if you're going to do it, pound on the desk, do it, right? And that's it. It's that simple. But there may be some people sitting out there, Sean, with a couple more limiting beliefs. And I want to spend the next 5 or 7 minutes or so just to help clear those cobwebs out a little bit. So I'm going to ask you some questions and just kind of let you riff. So in your journey to be the best, And with your belief that you can lead others down a path, and it's really a beautiful belief. It's 100% true. You talked about something oozing out of you. Well, it definitely oozes out of you, that energy and that passion, but what if you're sitting here believing you don't have that energy, or you're not good enough, or you have some doubt, you have some fear, and you're not sure anything oozes out of you, right? What do you say to that person? Or can you ever remember being like that, and how do you break out of it?
So yes, I can remember being like that. I used to have a horrific fear of public speaking. When I was at Illinois State University, I worked at the radio station, and part of my job was I had to go to this theater called Cape Theater and do giveaways. And when it was my turn to get up, I literally would pour. I didn't know what it was. I was just afraid, right? And so I just remember one day, it was my brother that he came to visit me at school. He saw me do something at a radio event, saw me sweat, and he's like, he's an older brother, so he bullies you a little. He's like, "What the is wrong with you?" He's like, and he called me a couple of names. He's like, "You're being a little, He's like, "What's wrong with you? Go up there and give that stuff away." And it was actually that day I said, "You know what?" I remember wiping my brow. I had like a wristband on, like a Bears wristband. And I remember doing that, and then that was the day I just decided. I was like, you know what? He's right. What's wrong with me? So to those of you who may be watching, who maybe you're an introvert, maybe you don't like video, maybe you don't want to be in front of the camera and all that. Listen, and this is going to sound a little rough. You're going to have to get over that. And you're just going to have to decide if you're going to do it or not. There's no secret formula. Sometimes you just have to have your coffee, or if you're like in the California vineyards, have some wine, do whatever you're going to do, and just say, you know what? Screw it. And take that camera and prop it up against your computer and make your video. Or go see a local business professional and do a quick 30-second interview with him or her. There's no way to get over it until you do it. It's like a fear of heights. You got to get up there, right? So to those people, I say, if I can do it, you can. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm a chocolate kid with freckles that wears a cowboy hat, boots, and a buckle in the middle of Chicago. If I can get my butt out there, and you should see the looks I get in the middle of Chicago, I can get my butt out there, so can you. Most of this is confidence. I don't care if you got to fake it till you make it. Just lace your boots up, buckle your shirt up, and get out there and go.
Whew. All right. So you've got them energized. You've got them fired up. They're going to just do it. They're going to get out there and go. And then they're going to fail. What do we learn from that failure, Sean?
A loss isn't a loss. It's a lesson. And I'll tell you what, I fail all the time. Gosh darn it. People tend to think, oh, Sean, it's easy for you. You got millions of views, blah, 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 blah. But look at all my videos. 90% of them do average. What I don't do is I don't delete. I don't go back. I put my video out. It did horrible. Putting another one out. And then I'm putting another one out. And then someone will call me and talk about me, or some crazy mean comment. Dude, you suck. Right? Then I do another one and it goes viral. Right? A loss isn't a loss. It's a lesson. You're going to be bad. You're going to sound silly. I don't care. Because understand something about your content you're putting out. It never goes away. You may make a video about down payment assistance in your state and it does nothing. Then 6 months later, you look and it's got 10,000 views, right? That content will always be there and it will always help the public. So when you fail, and you will, just do it again. Doesn't matter. Not as many people are laughing at you or beating you up as you're hard on yourself. Do you understand what I mean? You're your own worst critic.
100%.
It's rough on you, but everybody else will just go on about their day.
Aren't we all the rough critic? And Sean, that's why I began this session this morning with just reminding everyone to just stop and respect yourself, accept yourself, love yourself today. When you do it, you're going to have to find the joy in doing it. You're going to have to begin to love doing it. You're going to have to accept and respect that you're trying, right? Because you'll get better and better. That baby grizzly bear grows up into that papa or mama grizzly bear, right? So you got to just get on that path and get going. And I appreciate you again giving us some guidance and some strategy. I am going to tell folks in just a minute, Sean, where they can connect with you, because you're referencing videos, you're referencing TikTok. So I'm going to let everybody know where they can go find you, because I'm guessing anyone listening to this session right now wants to spend another 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 10 minutes, 2 hours listening to you and learning from you and absorbing the messages today. So I want to give you a chance to give this audience one final message. If you could make sure that everyone listening takes away one message today, what's that message you want to give, Sean?
Give your audience or your sphere more of you. Be more personable. Tell more stories, whether it's about you or your clients. Agents out there who you close your deal and oh, look at me, I just sold another $1.2 million. God bless me, right? No. Tell your clients a story about your buyers. Hey, let me tell you about Johnny. Johnny's a single daddy of 3. We started speaking 6 months ago. His credit was a little beat up. He's worked hard. He's saved his money. His credit's amazing now, and he just bought a house. You can be next. Let me tell you about Sally over here. She's a teacher. She's been renting her whole life. We hooked up 3 months ago. She's been saving. We got her down payment assistance, and now she's closing on a home. You can be next. Do you understand? Tell your audience stories about your clients and about yourself, and I promise you, you will be on the path to glory. Kirtus, I want to thank you for having me, by the way. And as I say, every time I leave, I say the same thing. I say, God bless you. God bless the United States. God bless eXp Realty. And God bless the Chicago Bears.
Sean, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Love this conversation, everybody. You have listened into a live studio recording of the Light Work podcast. You can go connect with Sean on TikTok. This is his social media platform of choice. Follow the Cowboy Realtor. When you hear Sean talking about thousands of likes and millions of views, that's what he's up to on TikTok. Go follow Sean, connect, get a little bit more, and join us back here every single Friday morning live in eXp World, except for holiday weeks, for the Light Work podcast, your weekly energy practice. Thank you again for joining me, everybody. This officially concludes the podcast recording. We are going to shift gears and get ready for the eXp Realty Agent Leadership Meeting. Today, we have the amazing Sean Murphy, Regional Vice President of Growth, and Craig Somerville, fantastic eXp agent out of Wisconsin. Sean and Craig will let you get up here and get ready to roll. Everybody, you've got just a couple of quick minutes before we kick off. Have a wonderful Friday. Thanks for joining us.